Your poetry gets better and better. I love it. I love it. Do you print it out at all to share?
A chapbook,
Yeah? Yeah? Nice. I'm just going to take a nice deep breath and enjoy looking at you because you look so beautiful. Do you stop and wonder and think and relax in the joy of how beautiful you are? Do you do that? You can do that. You can do that for me, for yourself. Every year in February, I start thinking about the importance of relationships. And I don't get anywhere. I realize how little I know, and the more I look into it, I've been doing some reading. Hossein Mossavat, Come Sit in My Heart, which is a beautiful book about relationships. And Hugh Prather wrote a book called I Will Never Leave You. He and his wife wrote it together about his explorations of relationship. And I think we're all really good at relationships, but we don't think of ourselves as, we don't always think of ourselves as really good at them. Our closest relationships, of course, are the most important and the ones that can lead us to our greatest awareness and enlightenment, in fact. Our mother used to scream at us, "How many times do I have to tell you?" I mean, it was really screaming. And of course, it's my family of origin that started me off on my path. And I had to say in my heart, this relationship, this kind of relationship that I had with my mother and my father and my sisters and brothers is not the kind of relationship that I want to live and to be and to it's not a relationship that knows love as kindness. It's not a relationship that knows love as compassion. There was love there. I know there was love. But it wasn't the kind of love that I had hoped to find or to have or to experience or to give. And as a consequence, I've been married 3 times. The first time. It's embarrassing, It is. So the first time I was married in Mexico, I went to be with the Quakers in their groups taking college students to Mexico to work in the villages. And at the end of this 6 weeks, we went back to Mexico City from the little town called Gasca, and I married this Mexican, tall, handsome Mexican man who played the guitar. So obviously, even at that time, I didn't have any idea what true love was about. But I knew a lot about romantic love. That was a great experience. And it was a good teacher. And then I married, I was in Boston. I was in Boston at college, my last year of college, and just after, a little while after graduation, I married this guy named Joe Percival. And we were together for 10 years. And I don't know what happened. You know, you have these relationships and something happens and you don't know what happened. And you're just there. You're exploring. You're just being who you are. And you're trying and something's not working. And I don't know if you ever know what really you just keep exploring. You just keep exploring. And then I married Larry 30 years ago, and we live out in near Marlin with our cats. And we had a son, and he's doing very well. And I think, well, this is about our relationship. This is good. Alex is doing well. And I think we think of soulmates, you know. We think, well, that person is very special. That's a soulmate. Well, I really believe that we are all soulmates because we have again and again and again, and on an absolute daily basis, we have an opportunity to change our minds about what we're thinking about what a relationship is and what a good relationship is. So I have some ideas about what makes good relationships, and I'm talking about not just romantic relationships, but all kinds of relationships, because all of us have all kinds of relationships, all kinds of relationships. So my first idea would be about faith and trusting in spirit, in God, in our deepest selves and our most enlightened selves in relationship. There's something that I try to do, and it's not just in relationship. Of course, it's in relationship. Everything's in relationship, but it's about situations, not necessarily about personal interactions. And it's about trust. It's about faith, and it's about knowing that a situation that comes up is going to work out. Just knowing that it's going to work out. And it's going to mostly in your favor. I just, when I do this, and I don't always do this, believe me, but when I do this, I experience a letting go, that I can't be the one to decide all of this. A trust that there is an energy within and without that will work with me for the greatest good of this situation. And I think it's important because we need to trust. We need to just have faith. And we need to explore the friendship we have with divinity, the relationship we have with God. Let's give our problems away. Let's know that there's more than just ourselves to solve our problems. That there's more energy around us and within us to solve our problems than we know. So trusting is important. Complete acceptance is another idea I have that makes for good relationships. Things can be different, and things are always changing. We change. We change over the years. We change our minds, and we can use this idea of change for our own evolution. We can also use it as an excuse. Oh, you've changed. Oh, you've changed. But change is important to explore, just explore. Because acceptance is a big issue. Oh, I have a few quotes. I wish I was doing better with quotes today, but I'm not. Real relationships include fights, arguments, faith, tears, but real relationships come through that with love. So it's important to remember that we are love, and we can access that love at any moment. Oh, remember WWJD, what would Jesus do? Well, what would love do? WWLD. My mind is slow, you know. What would love do? And yeah, that's another way to explore. Okay, defenselessness. Just think about defenselessness a moment in relationship. Who we are can never be harmed. Who we are can never be destroyed by anything that can happen to us or anyone who says anything to us. I try to practice defenselessness because it gets, it's gotten me into places and opportunities that I would not have had if I had been extremely defensive. I lost my office in Los Alamos, and I had to find a new one, and I had the opportunity to really be angry at the person who decided to double the rent. And I knew it was time to go, and it was very difficult. But I said, there must be a new opportunity for me. There must be a reason for this. And I also thought that must be true when my printer wouldn't work this morning. So thanks to Delith, she got me my talk. But actually, I'm not really giving that talk very much. So what you're getting is more spontaneous. So defenselessness has kept more friends and for myself over the years. And it's a very powerful tool if we're able to use it. I mean, we're on the phone with the telephone company for an hour, and it's ridiculous, you know. But defenselessness is a good tool in this kind of situation where things seem to be piling up and getting more difficult all the time. Another one. I have a whole list here, and I'm kind of picking out one or two that I really like. Release expectations can be an important. And of course, when we think about it, it's almost impossible to do. But if we can release them enough to make it, to help ourselves remember and realize that anything goes, anything can happen. Things can really change for the better at any moment. And those moments are when we are truly connected with Spirit. Releasing expectations. And I just thought of another one. Maybe I can find it. Barbara Brodsky says, oh, I can't find it. But she says that part of ourselves that is witnessing pain, witnessing our own pain, is not in pain. And that's a very important concept, because it means that we are more than our pain. We are more than everything that we think we are. We are more. And as such, we have access to more opportunities for solving our problems. If only our government realized this. What does it take? I don't know. But we truly are gifted with sight that is beyond our eyes, and knowledge that's beyond our minds, and certainly love that's beyond our human hearts. And any time that we take to use these extraordinary gifts that we forget we have changes everything for the better. Show up. I think showing up is terribly important, because if you don't, you're missing opportunities that could be extraordinary. You're missing opportunities to see things that you've never seen before, to understand things that you've never understood before, just simply by showing up for yourself as your own witness, and showing up for other people is a huge gift. It's a huge gift to other people. I've thought over the years in this community, I've thought that I want to know what's going on. I'm curious, so I show up for meetings. I show up, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any expectations. I don't know what I'm going to volunteer for next. But I think it's a gift to ourselves. It's a gift to ourselves. It's a way we take care of ourselves. Show up just by showing up. So here's another quote, which could lead to a whole nother talk at some future time. Sometimes what you are most afraid of doing is the thing that will set you free. And I'm not sure all of what that means, but I've experienced that. I've experienced that sense of freedom by doing something that was very difficult. And I know what it was. Well, one time it was, I'm just remembering, I was I think I told you this story. I was getting ready to go snowshoeing with Larry and Alex, and I threw up. And I suddenly realized that I was really afraid. So winter is interesting for me. I mean, I've lived in wintry places most of my life. But this time we were going up into the mountains north of Santa Fe, and the snow is deep, and it's deep winter, and it's cold, and it's snowy, and I was afraid to go snowshoeing. And once I realized I was throwing up because I was afraid, I said, I think I can manage this. I think I can do this. And I just found the courage to do that, and it was wonderful. We had a wonderful time. So that's just one example of doing things that you're afraid of doing. So another thing I find important in relationship is listening. And of course, listening is true for any kind of relationship. Being present, being absolutely as present as you can. Even though you might be saying to yourself, this is terrible, this is no good, I don't like this. Just staying present and listening may be all that is required in that situation. Listening with your heart and listening. If you just listen with your mind, you miss things. You miss things. So listening with your heart is truly something we can learn. I want to read, as I'm finishing up, I want to read a little bit from Hossein Mossavat's book. There's one poem that I like. I like them all, but the fire that burns my hand and leaves me with blisters. No, not that fire. The fire that comes to my home uninvited and leaves me with nothing but ashes. No, not that fire. The fire that burns my soul and frees me from all that I have become and purifies me of all existence and joins me in eternal flame. That fire. I am looking for that fire. That fire gives infinite freedom and all-consuming love. That fire which burns all that is not love. Yes, that fire. That friend I am looking for. And this is from the back of his book. I have come from you, for we are born within each other. This book is written about merging in the end. All that separates us is artificial. Just like looking at a rose. Every eye, no matter what color, race, creed, or religion, whether poor, rich, pope, or prophet, will see the same beauty and intensity in that rose. And to me, that rose is a source of our lives. That is what brings us together. That is where we come from, and that is where we go. Let us realize that rose for each other. And now it's your turn.